I don't want any of my exes. Oh dear God, no,
No.
no. I don't.
Listen, I get it. And
Uh,
listen, you are going to be tired because you've poured so much into this man, right? And unfortunately, he's not been the vessel that's been the right person to capitalize on the pouring that you've done, right? It's okay to feel tired. You need some time on the bench. We all say around this channel, sit on the bench and heal. Take some time on the bench, recuperate, take a Lucozade, take some, some of that energy drink and recuperate. There's no need to rush to get into a relationship. You are still beautiful. You are still
no.
fine. Okay, you still look good. No, 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 no. You still look good. You still look fine. You know what I'm saying? Okay, all right. You're very intelligent. You're very smart. You're loving. You're caring. Now it's just time to sit on the bench, recuperate, get your strength back. Don't rush yourself back into the field. There's no need. You understand what I'm saying to you? You've learned an important lesson from here. We ain't doing no more fix-uppies. We ain't doing no more Lego builders. Okay, that's not your business. You're not Bob the Builder. You are Symone. You understand what I'm saying to you, right? You get what I'm saying to you. Like what you did is above and beyond what someone should do. You weren't even married and you went above and beyond, which is beautiful. But unfortunately, especially for us as guys, what I'm noticing, especially a lot of them ain't shit. When you try to build them up, they need to fall flat on their face and they need to get up. They need to be men of integrity. They need to be men that are honest. They need to be men that are doing these things and keeping themselves in check. And when you come into alignment, that's great. You come together. But unfortunately, in this situation, we're Lego building. And I don't want you to do that. That's why you're tired because you've put so much into him, right? And I dare say that yes, some has been poured back into you, but a lot has been robbed from you. So I'm saying to you, that door, use the last bit. And I know it's hard because as we're getting the time and everything, hear you. If you can freeze the eggs, take your time, relax, enjoy life again a little bit. The right person will come along. You're beautiful, you're intelligent, you're smart. Listen, as DJ Khaled would say, you're amazing. So, but don't let the fact that time is clicking to let desperation become your movement and your motivation as to why you accept something that is not great. You know what I'm saying? We've done it here and we tried to give him a chance and the bus driver didn't work out. So I'm not saying you can't date a bus driver. I'm saying choose a bus driver that's got integrity and that's loving, that's caring, his character is going to make sure that they protect you as well in every other area. Financially, they also protect you. And that doesn't mean you have to make the most money, but he's integrous with his money as well. Is that fair? But talk to me. What do you think? I know it's your last one of thoughts, but talk to me. What?
No, you're right.
Hey guys, and welcome to LBB91. You probably just watched the interview with Symone. I've literally finished it, and I thought, let me give me some extra thoughts after that interview and break down something. Because usually I don't like to give people advice as to what they should do. But I decided today to give Symone live on air some advice about the situation between herself and Rashid. And I said to her not to go back. Now, I'm sure many women would say straight away they agree with what I'm saying, but I wanted to give a preference as to why I said what I said. The reason why I said about her not going back, and I want to give a bit more expansion, is because number one, Unaro issue is that he has a pattern of behavior which has not changed. Ex-wife, ex-girlfriend, now her. There is patterns of behavior that have not changed. His manipulation, his lying, his deceit, his destructive patterns of behavior when it comes to financial fidelity is a huge, huge issue. And money is a big thing as one of the reasons why people divorce. So the fact that there's a pattern of behavior, and yes, okay, he is loving, he's caring, he's giving her other areas where he's shown himself to be somebody who could care for her in ways that others haven't. As you heard her say earlier on in the interview about, I asked her, why does she want to marry someone like Rashid? What has he done that you felt like you had to marry him? And she made it very clear, look, he's caring, he's loving, he's allowed her to be herself, all those kind of things. But there's a pattern of behavior that's destructive. See, it's not a pattern of behavior that is easily fixed and said, okay, well, we can work with that and move along. It's a pattern of behavior that's destructive. And when there are destructive patterns being shown, we must believe you. If there are destructive patterns that are being shown, I have to believe you in this destructive pattern and I have to leave you, right? And the second reason why I also said this to her is because, like she was saying herself, she is somebody who is also in her healing journey when it comes to codependency. So it's going to be very difficult for her to really, really be able to separate herself and say, am I actually giving him a chance because I'm codependent, or am I giving him a chance because he's actually showing me things that actually tell me that he's a stable, solid individual that I can actually depend upon when I go upon this marriage? Right? Her codependency is going to make her recovering codependency, it's going to make it very difficult to toe the line between the two things. And so with that knowledge, I said, sis, you can't go back. You can't go back. Not because he's the worst human being, but because his patterns of behavior plus your patterns of behavior, where you're going to try and fix everything in order to get what you want. Because actually, we don't talk about the fact that codependent people end up becoming manipulative. I love Symone, but I gotta tell you the truth. Codependent people end up becoming manipulative because they try to fix things and try to become what we call the person who says, well, if I can just be there, then they'll change. Or if I can just do this, they'll be this. If I just do this, they believe they have power over the other person. So long as they're in the space and in the picture, then they can cause that person to be something to change. Sorry. It's like, oh, I know if you weren't there, if you there, it won't change. But if I'm there, it will change. Reality is it won't. It won't, because his behavior is got a pattern and it's got a history and it's got a root. And without those things being tackled, he stopped therapy. What's to say he's gonna stay on therapy this time? He's not, right? Men need time to fall flat on their faces. I'm not saying that people shouldn't care about them. They should have people that care about them, but not in the space of a lover. Because that lover becomes what we call this crutch. A lot of men need female friends, not lovers. Okay. All right. I've said this before, and you might have heard me say it before time as well. Men need female friends, not lovers. All right. The lovers become a crutch and they get access to you emotionally as well as mentally. And then they're able to use you as a pulley uppy. But the reality is when you build a man, oftentimes he turns into Frankenstein, or sorry, he turns into the monster that Frankenstein built and turns against the creator who built him. We don't Lego build around here. That does not mean that you can't have a man who earns less than you. That does not mean you don't have a man who is not on the same status as you or same power as you. What I'm saying is, when you build a man completely, he have taken him from 0 to 100, you're going to end up probably suffering. And when we try to cover major deficiencies that are destructive, we suffer. Because that's what it was. The deficiencies are destructive, right? So those are major things as to why I'm saying not to go there. And as a big bro, and even I'm younger than Symone, but as a big bro to Symone, I had to give it a real advice and be like, hey, I know you're probably thinking about going back because you're weighing up the good that he done. But the reality is the destructive nature of his abilities are actually greater than his actual goodness. If you were put them on a scale, his destructive ability to destroy you and him is far greater than what you see as good. And because he has history not only with the exes, but has history with you. So I'm not just talking to Symone, I'm talking to other women too, just in case you're in a similar situation, which somebody actually commented and said they're in a similar situation. And I would advise you, walk the frick away now. Run away like run away like Kelly Rowland said. Yeah. Yeah. Run away now. Kelly Rowland ludicrous. You know what I mean? Like run away. Because that person's got destructive ability and you'll be caught up in their hurricane and whirlwind and you'll hear, sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm sorry I hurt you, that's not what I wanted to do. It doesn't matter because they got that same pattern of behavior that they keep following. And you're now just the next person in the way. Get out while you can. Okay. All right. Men need to fail and fail hard in order to change. They need rock bottom. Okay. All right. The other qualities cannot make up for the fact he has destructive qualities. Okay. So that's me just giving that strong word. And I rarely do it. But because Symone is such a lovely person and I've spoke to her and Rashid for so long during the course of like from their season up till now, it's like I have a different angle when I'm talking to her, whereas other contestants, I would have just probably just give I'd give it as an advisory. But this one was like, no, close that door. Sit on the bench. Don't worry about the fact that you're getting older. Don't let that be the desperation, because desperation has a sound. This is how we end up in situationships. Desperation has a sound and it has a flavor to it, but it also has behavior characteristics as well. I don't want you to be in that space. I don't want Symone nor no woman to be in that space that desperation becomes their motivation as to why they begin to be dedicated. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, so yes, rarely do I give that advice to people, and I usually have my coaching hat on. But on this instance, I said no. Let me be a brother and tell the truth. Like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification uploads. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked, stay loaded. We appreciate.